The rain hammered against the window of my tiny apartment in Portland like it was trying to break in, mirroring the storm raging inside my chest. I stared at my phone, Jordan's latest text glowing on the screen. "Hey man, everything okay? Miss our dumb coffee runs." And felt a knife twist in my gut, because nothing was okay. Not since I'd realized I was in love with him. In that split second, as his laugh echoed in my memory from our last hike up Multnomah Falls, I deleted the message without replying, my heart pounding with the terror of what it all meant. It had always been us against the world, Jordan and me, since freshman year at Portland State University when we bonded over late-night sketches in the art studio. Me with my pencils and him with his wild ideas for comic strips that never quite made it to print. He was the spark to my quiet flame, the one who dragged me out of my shell with his infectious grin and stories about growing up in a big Italian-Mexican family in East LA, where Sundays meant tamales and endless soccer games in the backyard. I was the steady one, the kid from a sleepy suburb in Spokane, raised by a single mom who worked double shifts at the hospital, teaching me that love was quiet endurance, not fireworks. But with Jordan, it was both. Fireworks wrapped in the comfort of shared silences. Like the way we'd sprawl on my worn-out couch, feet tangled under a blanket, binge-watching old sci-fi flicks until the credits rolled and we'd talk about everything and nothing. Those 3 days started innocently enough, or at least that's what I told myself as I shoved my phone into a drawer and buried myself in freelance design gigs. The first morning, I woke up to the scent of his leftover cologne on my pillow, earthy and warm, like pine after rain, and nearly cracked, my fingers itching to text him back. Instead, I laced up my boots and headed to Powell's City of Books, losing myself in the towering shelves of graphic novels, pretending the ache in my chest was just hunger. Portland's gray skies suited my mood, the drizzle soaking through my jacket as I wandered the Pearl District, past food carts slinging pierogies and falafel, the city's eclectic pulse a distant hum against my unraveling thoughts. By afternoon, the silence from me had turned into a chasm. Jordan called once, his voice light but laced with that easy concern he always had for me. "Alex, you there? Sounded like you got kidnapped by aliens or something." I let it go to voicemail, my thumb hovering over the screen as his message played. A joke about how he'd save me with his legendary barista powers, followed by a pause that stretched too long, like he knew something was off. Guilt clawed at me, but fear won out. The fear of saying it aloud, of turning our brotherhood into something messy and irreversible. What if he laughed? What if he pulled away? I'd read enough stories online, late at night in anonymous forums, about guys like me who ruined everything by crossing that line. So I ghosted him, crafting excuses in my head. Busy with work, coming down with a bug, anything to buy time while I figured out how to stuff this feeling back into the friend-zone box where it belonged. That night, sleep evaded me like a thief in the shadows. I tossed on my bed, the city lights filtering through the blinds in fractured patterns, casting ghosts on the walls. Memories flooded in unbidden. Jordan's hand on my shoulder during that brutal breakup with my ex-girlfriend Sarah 2 years ago, his voice steady as he said, "You're too good for her games, Alex. Someone's gonna see that fire in you someday." I'd laughed it off then, but now those words burned, twisting into what-ifs that kept me awake until dawn. By the second day, the isolation I'd imposed on myself started to feel like a cage. I avoided our usual spots. The cozy nook at Kawava Coffee where he'd sketch on napkins while I edited photos, or the waterfront trail where we'd race each other to the steel bridge, breathless and alive. Work became my lifeline, a distraction in the form of a Rush logo design for a local queer bookstore event. Ironic, given the theme of hidden identities and bold revelations. As I layered colors in Photoshop, my mind wandered to Jordan's own secrets, the ones he'd shared over cheap beers at the Alberta Street pub. How his family back in LA still didn't know he was bi, how he'd come out to me one rainy night sophomore year, drunk on cheap tequila, his eyes vulnerable as he waited for my reaction. I'd hugged him tight, said it changed nothing, and meant it, until now when it changed everything. The prompt stared back at me from the screen. "Embrace your truth." Hypocrite, I thought, slamming my laptop shut. The second evening brought a knock at my door that jolted me from a half-hearted attempt at cooking ramen. It was Mia, my coworker from the design co-op, her rainbow-dyed hair dripping from the downpour outside. "Dude, you look like hell. Jordan's been blowing up the group chat. Says you're MIA and he's worried sick." She pushed past me with a 6-pack of IPA, plopping onto the couch like she owned it. Mia had always been the blunt one, the out-and-proud lesbian who dragged me to my first Pride parade last June. Her arm linked through mine as confetti rained down on Burnside. "Spill it, Alex. Is this about that crush you've been mooning over?" I froze, heat flooding my face. "What? No, it's work stress." But she saw right through me, her eyes narrowing with that big sister knowing. We cracked open beers, and as the hops loosened my tongue, the words tumbled out. Not the full truth, but enough. Confusion, fear, the way one person's laugh could upend your entire world. Mia listened without judgment, her hand squeezing my knee. Listen, ignoring it won't make it go away. Jordan's your rock. Talk to him before you lose that. Her words lingered as she left, the rain picking up again, a relentless reminder that some storms you couldn't outrun. Day 3 dawned with a ferocity that matched my fraying nerves. I forced myself to the gym in the basement of my building, pounding the treadmill until my lungs burned, sweat blurring the edges of Jordan's face in my mind. But even there, echoes of him haunted me. Spotting me on bench presses, his teasing, "Don't drop it on your pretty face, Thompson." Pretty. The word had always been a joke between us, but now it landed differently, stirring something deep and undeniable. By noon, my inbox overflowed with client revisions, but concentration eluded me. Every notification ping sent my heart racing, half hoping, half dreading it was him. I caved a little that afternoon, scrolling through our old texts like a masochist. Photos from road trips to the Oregon coast, where we'd built bonfires and stared at the stars, his head on my shoulder as waves crashed in the distance. One message from last month: "You're my favorite constant, Alex. Don't know what I'd do without you." Tears pricked my eyes, hot and unwelcome. Why was I doing this? Punishing him for feelings that weren't his fault? The humanity in me screamed to reach out, but the coward whispered to wait, to protect what we had by not risking it all. As twilight bled into the sky, painting the Hawthorne district in bruised purples, my phone buzzed with a finality that stopped my breath. Not a text, a photo from Jordan. Him standing on the balcony of his loft apartment overlooking the river, rain-slicked hair plastered to his forehead, eyes shadowed with hurt, holding up a sign scrawled in marker. 3 days is too long without my best friend. Meet me at our spot, please. Our spot, the old swing set in Laurelhurst Park, where we'd carved our initials into the wood frame back in college, a childish pact against the uncertainties of growing up. My resolve shattered like glass underfoot. I grabbed my jacket, heart thundering, and stepped into the storm, knowing this confrontation could either mend us or break us forever. The park was a watercolor of grays and greens under the relentless downpour, puddles mirroring the fractured streetlights like shattered promises. I spotted him before he saw me. Jordan silhouetted against the massive oaks, swinging gently on the creaky chain, his broad shoulders hunched as if carrying the weight of my silence. At 23, he looked both boyish and timeless. The boy who'd once dared me to jump a creek on our first hike, now a man etched with the lines of unspoken worries. His green eyes lifted as I approached, relief flickering through the pain, and he stood, wiping rain from his face with the back of his hand. "Alex," he said, voice rough like gravel under tires. "You scared the hell out of me." No anger, just raw vulnerability that hit me harder than any accusation could. I stopped a few feet away, water streaming down my collar, words tangling in my throat. The air between us crackled, thick with 3 days of pent-up everything. The laughs we'd missed, the coffees gone cold, the quiet companionship that had become my anchor. I'm sorry," I stammered, finally meeting his gaze. Up close, in the dim park light, I saw the toll my absence had taken. Faint shadows under his eyes, the way his usual spark dimmed just a fraction. "It's not you, it's me. I've been dealing with stuff. Lame, I knew, but it was all I had before the dam broke." Jordan stepped closer, close enough that I could smell the rain on his skin mixed with that familiar cologne. His hand reaching out to grip my arm. Not gently, but with the desperation of someone clinging to a lifeline. "Stuff? Man, we've been through breakups, family drama, that time you wrecked your bike racing me down Sandy Boulevard. Whatever it is, you don't shut me out. We're supposed to be in this together." His voice cracked on the last word, and something in me fractured too. The walls I'd built crumbling under the weight of his trust. I pulled away, not because I wanted to, but because standing there, feeling the heat of him through the chill, made it impossible to lie anymore. "Jordan, it's about you. All of it." The confession lodged in my chest, heavy as lead. Rain blurred my vision, or maybe it was tears. I couldn't tell. He waited, patient as ever, his expression a mix of confusion and quiet hope that twisted the knife deeper. "Tell me," he urged softly, his thumb brushing my sleeve in that absent-minded way he had, the one that always grounded me. And so, with the swing chains rattling in the wind like a chorus urging me on, I let it spill. The realization during our last hike, how his touch lingered differently now, how every shared glance felt charged with a current I couldn't ignore. "I'm in love with you," I whispered, the words tasting like freedom and fear intertwined. "Not as a friend. And it terrifies me because I can't lose you." Silence stretched, broken only by the patter of rain on leaves, and in that eternal moment, I braced for the end. the polite rejection, the awkward pivot back to bromance. But Jordan's face softened, a slow smile breaking through like sunlight piercing clouds. He closed the distance, cupping my face with hands that trembled slightly, his eyes searching mine with an intensity that stole my breath. "Alex, you idiot," he murmured, voice thick with emotion. "You think you're the only one who's been scared?" Before I could process, his lips met mine. Tentative at first, then deepening with the pent-up longing of years unspoken. It was rain and warmth, desperation and home, his fingers threading through my wet hair as I melted into him, the world narrowing to the press of his body against mine. When we broke apart, foreheads touching, he laughed softly, a sound that healed every crack I'd inflicted. "I've been waiting for you to catch up." 3 days felt like forever. We stood there, swaying like the swings behind us, as the storm eased into a drizzle. Portland's lights twinkled in the distance, a city of reinventions, and in that park, under the oaks that had witnessed our pact, we rewrote it. Not as brothers, but as lovers, raw and real. The fear didn't vanish. It lingered like a shadow, but with Jordan's hand in mine, it felt surmountable, a reminder that the bravest stories are the ones we tell each other in the dark. But joy like that doesn't come without its undercurrents, and as we walked back to my apartment, arms linked against the chill, I couldn't shake the whisper of doubt. What now? His family, miles away in LA, still in the dark about his bisexuality. My mom, with her quiet hopes for a nice girl someday. Society's sidelong glances, the casual judgments we'd both dodged in college parties and job interviews. Yet, holding his hand felt like defiance, a quiet revolution starting with 2 hearts sinking in the rain-slicked streets. That night, tangled in sheets that still smelled faintly of his absence, we talked until the sky lightened. About the future, messy and uncertain, but ours. Jordan traced patterns on my chest, his voice a low rumble. "We don't have to rush, but no more ignoring me. Okay? Promise you'll fight for this with me." I nodded, sealing it with a kiss, the value of vulnerability sinking deep. Love wasn't just fireworks. It was choosing each other, day by day, through the storms. The morning after brought a fragile peace, sunlight filtering through my curtains in rare Portland gold, painting Jordan's sleeping form in soft halos. I watched him for a moment, chest rising steady, lips curved in that half-smile he wore even in dreams, and felt a swell of something profound, like gratitude wrapped in awe. This man, who'd been my constant through term papers and heartbreak, now lay here as more, and the weight of it grounded me rather than overwhelmed. We spent the day reclaiming what we'd lost. A lazy brunch at screen door, where he stole bites of my chicken and waffles, his foot nudging mine under the table in playful secrecy. Laughter came easier, laced with new undercurrents. His gaze lingering on my mouth, my hand brushing his when passing the syrup. But beneath the romance simmered the drama we'd yet to face. As we strolled the Saturday market along the waterfront, vendors hawking handmade jewelry and organic soaps, Jordan's phone buzzed incessantly. His sister Carla, calling from LA about a family barbecue next month. He silenced it with a grimace, and I squeezed his hand. "You gonna tell them?" He shrugged, eyes on the glittering river. "Eventually, but not over the phone. And not without you if you're up for it." The offer hung there, heavy with implication. Meeting the Hayes clan, the boisterous table of aunts and uncles who'd raised him on stories of resilience amid immigrant struggles. It was a step toward integration, but one that terrified him more than he'd admit, echoes of his coming-out fears resurfacing. That vulnerability cracked open later, back at his loft in the Pearl District, a converted warehouse space cluttered with sketchpads and half-finished murals, sunlight streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows. We collapsed onto his futon, bodies entwining naturally now, kisses turning heated until breath came in gasps. But midway he pulled back, eyes stormy. "What if they hate it? Us?" His voice was small, the confident Jordan stripped bare. I held him close, feeling the rapid thump of his heart against mine. "Then we build our own family. Here. With Mia and the crew, with late-night runs to Voodoo Donut when the world feels too big." He chuckled, but tears glistened, and we lay there, mapping out dreams amid the fears. Road trips to Big Sur, joint art shows where our worlds collided in color and line. Yet, the kitsch turned when evening fell and a text from my mom lit up my screen. "Heard you're seeing someone?" Spill. Guilt twisted anew. I'd kept her in the loop about everything except this seismic shift. Calling her from Jordan's balcony, the city humming below, I fumbled through it. "Mom, it's Jordan. You remember him?" "More now." Silence stretched, then her voice warm and steady. "The boy with the laugh that lights up rooms? Oh, honey, as long as he makes you happy." Relief flooded me. But Jordan, overhearing, buried his face in my neck, whispering, "Your turn to carry me through this." The next week blurred into a whirlwind of stolen moments and building tensions. Work pulled us in different directions. Me buried in a campaign for a local nonprofit aiding LGBTQ youth. Irony not lost as I designed posters screaming, "Your story matters." Him juggling shifts at the bustling Stumptown Coffee, where he'd text me mid-rush, "Made your latte art today. It's a heart. Don't judge." Romance bloomed in the margins. Picnics in Washington Park, where cherry blossoms dusted our hair as we fed each other strawberries, his lips tasting sweet and teasing. But the gate-capping edge sharpened when Jordan's ex, Tyler, a brooding photographer we'd both known from college, crashed our orbit, spotting us at a gallery opening in the White Stag building. Tyler's smirk was all sharp edges. "Hayes, slumming it with your shadow now?" The jab landed, dredging up old rumors about Jordan's phase with him. A toxic fling that had left scars. Jordan stiffened beside me, hand tightening in mine, but I stepped forward, voice even. "We're good, Tyler. Better without the drama." He sauntered off, but the poison lingered, Jordan withdrawing into himself that night over takeout pho from a cart on Burnside. What if he's right? What if this is just convenient for you? Doubt, born of past hurts, spilled out in waves. I pulled him onto the couch, our knees knocking, and stripped it bare. "Jordan, you're not convenient. You're everything. The hikes, the sketches, the way you see me, that's not shadow. That's light." We made love then, slow and affirming, bodies mapping forgiveness, emerging stronger but aware. The world wouldn't always be kind. As summer crept in, humid and hopeful, we planned the trip to LA, a gauntlet of family truths. Driving down I-5 in Jordan's beat-up Subaru, windows down to the roar of engines and scent of pine, we alternated between playlists of indie folk and heated makeouts at rest stops. Laughter masked the nerves, but by the time we hit the sun-baked sprawl of East LA, tension coiled tight. The Hayes home was a riot of color. Murals on adobe walls, the air thick with cumin and laughter. Carla greeted us with hugs, her toddler clinging to Jordan's leg, but eyes sharpened on our linked hands. Dinner unfolded in a blur of plates passed and stories swapped. My mom's apple pie recipe earning nods, until Maria, Jordan's mom, leaned in. "So, Mijo, this the one making you smile like that?" The table hushed, and Jordan's hand shook in mine as he nodded, voice steady. "Yeah, Mom, Alex is my partner." Gasps, then questions, but no outrage. Tears from his dad, quiet pride from Maria. "We've always known your heart was big, just love fierce, like we taught you." Relief crashed over us, hugs enveloping, the family weaving me in like I'd always belonged. That night, in the guest room with Jordan curled against me, he whispered, "We did it, together." Back in Portland, the drama peaked in unexpected ways. A client pulling out from my nonprofit gig after overhearing whispers about that gay designer, forcing a scramble for stability. Jordan rallied, pulling strings at the coffee shop for freelance gigs. His belief in me a buoy, and when pride rolled around, we marched hand in hand down the rainbow-strewn streets, confetti in our hair, chanting for visibility and love. The kitsch of it all, the fights, the doubts, faded against the human truth. Love's real power lay in persistence, in choosing each other amid the chaos. Months folded into a rhythm that felt both revolutionary and routine, our lives in Portland intertwining like vines on the city's old brick walls. Jordan and I cohabited now, my apartment traded for his loft's expansive chaos, where mornings meant him brewing pour-overs while I sketched at the kitchen island, our feet brushing under the counter in lazy affection. Romance simmered in the everyday, notes tucked into lunch bags, surprise tickets to a Modest Mouse concert at the Crystal Ballroom, where we'd dance until sweat slicked and euphoric, bodies pressed close amid the throng. Yet, beneath the bliss, emotional undercurrents tugged, demanding we navigate them with care. My mom's visit in early fall brought a gentle confrontation. Over tea at Tin Shed Garden Cafe, her eyes soft with concern. "I'm happy for you, Alex, truly. But have you thought about the long haul? Kids? Maybe?" The question, born of her own solitary path, stirred doubts I'd buried. The societal script of picket fences and traditional ties clashing with our uncharted road. Jordan, sensing the shift that evening, drew me into a bath scented with eucalyptus, his hands massaging tension from my shoulders. "We define our haul, babe. No script needed." His own family ties deepened the drama when his cousin Diego visited, a straight-laced Marine fresh from deployment, whose offhand joke at a backyard barbecue, "Don't go turning me next, Jordy," landed like a grenade. Jordan's face shuddered, old wounds reopening, and we argued that night, my frustration boiling over. "You can't let every idiot dim your light." He stormed out, returning hours later with wilting daisies from a corner bodega, apology in his eyes. "You're right. But it hurts, Alex. The world's not always kind to us queers. We reconciled in tears and touches, emerging with a pact. Therapy sessions at the local center, unpacking baggage together, turning pain into shared strength. The real gay-capping storm brewed at work, where Jordan's boss at Stumptown, a progressive spot on paper, overheard a customer slinging homophobic slurs our way during a busy shift. Instead of backing him, the manager pulled Jordan aside. Tone it down with the PDA. We don't want to scare off the straights. Fury ignited. Jordan quit on the spot, storming home with a fire that both scared and aroused me. I'm done hiding, he declared, pacing the loft like a caged panther. We channeled it into action, him enrolling in barista classes for a queer-owned cafe in Southeast, me pitching a bold series on LGBTQ resilience for my portfolio. Laughter returned with the leaves, in stolen weekends at the coast, where we'd hike Tillamook Head, salt wind whipping our faces as we chased sunsets. One evening, atop the cliffs with waves crashing below, Jordan dropped to one knee, not with a ring, but a carved wooden keychain from our park swing. To all our spots, past and future. Marry me? Someday? Tears mixed with sea spray as I pulled him up, kissing him fierce. Every day. But kitsch escalated when Tyler resurfaced, drunk dialing Jordan at 2 a.m., slurring regrets and what-ifs that clawed at insecurities. I woke to Jordan's hushed voice, jealousy flaring hot until he hung up, turning to me with haunted eyes. He wants back in, says he gets it now. The vulnerability hit like a wave, forcing a raw talk till dawn. My fears of inadequacy, his of repeating past mistakes. You're my now, Alex, he vowed. And we sealed it with a lovemaking that felt like reclamation. Bodies affirming what words sometimes faltered. Humanity wove through it all, in small acts. Volunteering at the youth center, where we mentored kids like a wide-eyed trans teen named Riley, sharing stories of our stumbles toward authenticity. Watching Jordan's patience, his easy empathy, I saw the man I'd fallen for anew. Fierce protector, gentle dreamer. And in quiet nights, heads on the same pillow, we'd whisper gratitudes. For the 3 days that nearly broke us, but ultimately forged something unbreakable. As winter blanketed Portland in frost-laced beauty, we hosted our first holiday, melding my mom's lax with his family's pozole, Mia toasting to the gays who made it. Laughter echoed, but a call from LA tempered it. Jordan's abuela, fading in hospice, requesting a visit. The drive south was somber, highways blurring into grief, but holding his hand through her final stories, of love enduring borders and biases, we found solace. At her bedside, he came out fully, her frail hand squeezing his. Mi corazón, love as you are, it's the bravest thing. Back home, the loss carved space for growth. Jordan channeled it into a comic series, Shadows to Light, illustrations of queer journeys that caught a publisher's eye. My designs for the nonprofit won accolades, panels featuring our story anonymously. Romance deepened in the healing. Candlelit dinners at Le Pigeon, where he'd feed me oysters with a wink, or slow dances in the loft to Nina Simone, bodies swaying to rhythms of rediscovery. Yet, the climax crested in spring, when a viral backlash hit. Tyler leaked old photos from their past, twisting them into a smear campaign online, painting Jordan as unstable. Trolls swarmed our feeds, doubts creeping back. We hunkered down, but the pressure built until Jordan snapped, deleting his accounts. I can't breathe with this noise. In the quiet that followed, I held him through panic attacks, our love a fortress against the storm. Emerging, we went public. A joint post, unapologetic and tender. Our story, flawed, fierce, forever. The response, an outpouring of support, messages from strangers echoing our humanity, reminding us visibility's double edge cuts both ways, but heals deeper. Pride that year felt triumphant, marching with Riley and new friends, Jordan's hands steady in mine. Through it all, the value crystallized. Love's not absence of struggle, but presence in it. Choosing vulnerability, weaving diverse threads into a tapestry rich with meaning. And as we stood on our balcony that summer eve, city lights winking below, I knew. Ignoring him those 3 days taught me the irreplaceable why, because without him, I'd be half a story untold. Looking back, those initial 3 days of silence feel like a distant echo, a necessary rupture that birthed our most profound connection. Portland had shaped us into this resilient, intertwined souls navigating a world that both celebrated and challenged our love. Jordan's comic found a home with a small press. Launch party at Powell's buzzing with fans who saw pieces of themselves in the panels. I curated the event's visuals, our hands brushing over layouts late into the night, sparks flying amid the creative frenzy. Romance evolved into deeper intimacy, anniversaries marked not with grand gestures but heartfelt ones. A custom sketchbook I filled with our moments, from park swings to coastal cliffs. Him composing a playlist titled Our Soundtrack. Tracks weaving our laughs and whispers. Yet, emotional layers peeled back revealed ongoing dramas. My mom's health scare. A slipped disc from years of nursing shifts, pulling me north to Spokane for weeks. Jordan drove up weekends, his presence a balm in the sterile hospital room, holding my hand through tears as she quipped. Brought my favorite nurse-in-law I see. His family's dynamics added gay-capping twists. Carla's wedding loomed, a lavish affair in Pasadena where we'd stand as best men. A role laced with irony and tension. Rehearsal dinner brought probing questions from extended kin. But Jordan's poise, arm around my waist, silenced doubts. Vows exchanged under string lights, we danced to At Last. His breath warm on my neck. This could be us someday. The whisper ignited dreams, but reality nipped. Legal hurdles for same-sex couples. Whispers of relocation for better protections. Back in Oregon, work's volatility struck. My freelance dried up amid economic dips, forcing a soul-searching pivot to teaching graphic design at a community college. Jordan thrived at the Queer Cafe, Brood Awakening, where rainbow flags fluttered and open mics amplified voices like ours. But a customer altercation, a bigot hurling epithets, left him shaken, bruises fading slower than the emotional ones. That night, curled on the loft floor amid scattered comics, he confessed buried traumas. High school taunts in LA, the isolation before me. You saved me, Alex. By seeing me. I held him through sobs, our love a mirror reflecting strengths we'd overlooked. Therapy evolved into couple sessions, unpacking how my early abandonment fears, dad bailing when I was 5, mirrored his bisexuality doubts. Humanity shone in these raw exchanges, turning pain into empathy, kitsch into growth. Summer brought levity. A group camping trip to Crater Lake, Mia and Riley in tow, tents pitched under star-drenched skies. Bonfires crackled with ghost stories and truths. Riley coming out to her folks, our cheers a chorus of solidarity. Jordan and I slipped away to the water's edge, midnight blue lapping at our toes, his kiss tasting of Esmores and promise. Here's to more adventures, partner. But climax brewed in autumn, when Jordan's publisher pushed for a national tour, thrusting us into spotlights we'd skirted. First stop, LA book signing, family beaming, but media twisted it. Headlines sensationalizing, queer creators' secret romance. Backlash surged, old trolls resurrecting Tyler's venom. Jordan spiraled, canceling shows, isolation creeping like fog. What if they see through me? The fraud who waited too long. I refused to let fear win, booking a spontaneous getaway to Cannon Beach, Haystack Rock looming like a sentinel. There, on windswept sands, I knelt with a simple band, recycled silver, engraved, constant. Marry me now, Jordan Hayes. No somedays. Tears streamed as he yes-ed, pulling me into the surf, waves soaking our joy. It wasn't legal yet, but it was ours. Vows whispered to the tide. To weather storms, amplify each other, embrace the mess. Returning, we faced the fray united. Rescheduled tour with me as road manager. Panels on resilience drawing crowds hungry for realness. Pride evolved into advocacy. Us speaking at youth events, Jordan's voice steady. Love me taught? It's not perfect. It's persistent. The drama peaked at a heated Q&A. A heckler shouting slurs, but Riley standing to counter. Their love's braver than your hate, ignited applause, a ripple of human triumph. Winter's coziness healed. We hosted Friendsgiving, tables groaning under Mia's vegan turkey and Carla's tamales via mail, toasts to found families. Jordan's abuela's memory lingered in a tattoo he got, a heart pierced by light, my matching one a silent vow. As snow dusted the Willamette, we dreamed big. Adopting someday, a home with a garden for sketching en plein air. Through every twist, the 3 days lesson endured. Ignoring love's call risks losing its essence, but answering forges meaning. Our story, dramatic and tender, whispered a universal truth. In a world of fleeting connections, choosing each other daily crafts the most enduring legacy. Years blurred the edges of that rainy park confession into legend. Our private myth etched in shared glances and inside jokes. Portland remained our canvas. The city of bridges mirroring the ones we'd built. Over doubts, distances, the chasms of self. Jordan's comic soared, a graphic novel adaptation greenlit for streaming. His name whispered in indie circles from Brooklyn to Seattle. I thrived in academia, syllabus laced with queer theory, students like wide-eyed versions of us, hungry for narratives that affirmed. Romance matured into a quiet fire, anniversaries now layered with history. The third marked by a vow renewal at Multnomah Falls, mist crowning us as we reaffirmed under the cascade. Rings glinting. Legal now, after Oberfell's echo reached Oregon fully. His hand in mine felt like destiny reclaimed, kisses deeper with the wisdom of trials weathered. Emotional depths plumbed further. My mom's retirement brought her west, a bungalow near us in Selwood, Sunday dinners blending her pot roast with Jordan's experimental pozole fusions. But her quiet confessions, regrets over my absent dad, fears she'd failed as a parent, mirrored my own paternal voids, sessions with our therapist weaving generational threads. Jordan's empathy shone, holding space for her tears. Families evolve, Mrs. T. We're proof. His side's drama simmered. Diego's discharge led to a rift, his machismo clashing with our openness. Holiday calls terse until a heart-to-heart hike in the Hollywood Hills mended it. Diego admitting his own hidden struggles, a door cracked for vulnerability. Carla's second kid, a boy named after Jordan, prompted Uncle Judy's. Us flying south for baptisms that blurred lines, his abuela's spirit in lullabies sung bilingual. Gay-capping edges sharpened professionally. Jordan's show faced network pushback, toned down the sex scenes, igniting a boycott threat from fans. We rallied, petitions circulating, my designs amplifying voices till concessions came, a wind tasting of collective power. Personally, fertility whispers grew, talks of surrogacy, adoption fairs where tiny faces tugged hearts. A false start, a denied placement, crushed us, nights spent rocking each other through grief. Our family's enough, he'd murmur, but longing lingered. Climax crested unexpectedly. A reunion invite from my college art class, Portland State alums gathering at the old studio. Tyler there, sober now, eyes haunted as he cornered Jordan. I was wrong, seeing you too. It's what I couldn't give. No malice, just regret. A human pivot that disarmed, forgiveness flowing easy in the face of growth. We left arm in arm, the past shadow shrinking. Humanities core pulsed in mentorship. Riley, now 19, interned with us, her transition celebrated with a loft party, tattoos and toasts marking milestones. Watching Jordan guide her through publisher pitches, pride swelled, his light undimmed, a beacon for the next wave. Winter softened into habit. New Year's at the Rose Parade viewing, then home for champagne and resolutions whispered skin to skin. Spring birthed renewal, a positive adoption match, a toddler girl with curls like Jordan's, her first dada to us both melting defenses. We named her Luna, after moonlit confessions, her laughter filling the loft once sparse with doubts. Pride that year, with Luna in a tiny rainbow onesie on my shoulders, felt full circle. Marching not just for visibility, but legacy. The 3 days echo, a foundational scar, reminding. Love's fragility demands fierce tending, its bloom a testament to courage. As autumn leaves swirled, we hiked our trail, Luna babbling between us, Jordan's green eyes meeting mine. Worth every storm, indeed, the kitsch, the feels, the romance, all culminating in meaning. In loving boldly, we craft worlds kinder for those who follow. Decades would etch this path deeper, but in the immediate weave, our tapestry richened with Luna's chaos. Toddler tantrums met with Jordan's silly songs, my patient puzzles, a home alive with crayon murals and midnight feedings. Portland's rains now soundtracked lullabies, the Willamette a constant companion as we pushed her stroller along esplanades, her tiny hand waving at passers-by. Romance, tempered by parenthood, reignited in stolen pockets. Date nights at Arden Garden Bistro, his foot tracing mine under linen cloths, whispers of still you over wine. Emotional gales persisted. Luna's first preschool questions, why 2 dads? Prompted school meetings, my advocacy flaring against hesitant admins till policies shifted. A micro-victory in the long fight. Jordan's career crested with the series premiere. Red carpet in LA where family cheered. Carla live tweeting from the couch. Backlash nipped, pundits decrying gay agenda. But viewership soared, dialogues sparking nationwide. I guest designed episode graphics, our collaboration seamless. A quiet thrill in credits rolling with both names. Family dramas layered. My mom's passing, swift from complications, left a void we filled with memorials at her spoken grave. Luna scattering petals as Jordan recited her favorite poem. Grief bonded us tighter, his arms my harbor through sobs. She saw our light, Alex, carry it for her. Diego's wedding followed, us as co-best men, his toast. To love that bends but never breaks, sealing brotherhood reborn. Gay-capping peaks hit when Luna's school outing unearthed a bully's taunts. Your dads are weird, her confusion shattering us. We navigated with books and talks, Jordan's comic spin turning pain to power. A special issue on family diversity that trended, invitations to TEDx pouring in. Speaking together, hands clasped on stage, we shared the 3 days tale anonymized. Silence nearly silenced us. Voice set us free. Humanity bloomed in ripples. Riley's wedding, us officiating under Portland oaks, her vows echoing ours. Mentorship expanded. A foundation birthed from Jordan's royalties. Scholarships for queer youth artists. Luna's future fund woven in. Climax unfurled in crisis. Jordan's diagnosis. Early thyroid issue. Treatable but terrifying. Shook foundations. Hospital vigils. My hand in his through scans. Luna's drawings taped to walls. Fight with me? He rasped. And we did. Treatments. Trials. Triumphs. Emerging scarred but synced. His recovery a testament to shared resilience. Post-recovery, life reframed. A sabbatical to Italy. Roots seeking for his Mexican heritage. Luna chasing gelato in Rome alleys. Us stealing kisses in Tuscan vineyards. Back home, we adopted again, a brother for Luna, Kai, his adoption day a circle of loved ones. Rings exchanged in a commitment ceremony affirming our patchwork family. Pride evolved to legacy marches. Luna and Kai waving signs. Love wins daily. As we grade gracefully, Jordan's curls silvering. My hazel eyes crinkling. The original hook? Those 3 days a mythic origin. Teaching. Ignoring love's whisper invites regret. Heeding it crafts eternity. In twilight years, loft traded for a Hawthorne craftsman with garden swings echoing our park pact. We'd rock on the porch, Jordan's head on my shoulder, sunset gilding memories. Best decision, he'd murmur, and I'd agree. The drama, emotion, romance culminating in profound meaning. Lives intertwined, a love that outlasted storms, inspiring all who crossed our path. Generations cycled, but our core endured. A flame passed, flickering in Luna's art school sketches, Kai's activist scenes, echoes of Jordan's bold lines and my steady hues. Portland, ever-changing, mirrored us. New bridges spanning divides, queer districts thriving with cafes like Jordan's old haunt, now a landmark. Romance, in elder grace, softened to touches. His hand seeking mine across breakfast nooks, anniversaries marked by rereading vows under the falls, waters roar drowning doubts long vanquished. Emotional tempests mellowed. Family reunions swelled with grandkids, Diego's daughters quizzing us on how you met. Our tale spun into fable, the 3 days a punchline of growth. Jordan's legacy cemented. A biopic in works, him consulting with wry humor. Make me taller. Backlash faded to footnotes. Impact measured in letters from fans. Your story gave me courage. My tenure brought lectureships. Retiring with a named studio for LGBTQ creators. Ribbon cutting with teary eyes, Jordan squeeze grounding. Dramas lingered lightly. Health flares, mine a knee replacement post-hike mishap, his steady presence through rehab walks, Luna pushing the chair with giggles. Losses accumulated, Carla's passing. A quiet send-off in LA eucalyptus groves, her ashes scattered with stories of her fierce love. Gay capping faded to advocacy's gentle push. Policy briefs for elder queer care, us testifying in Salem, voices joined. We've built this life. Protect it for those building theirs. Humanity's thread? In every grandchild's hug, Riley's thriving gallery, the foundation's scholarships blooming artists who saw themselves in us. Climax, in final chapters, was serene. A documentary crew capturing our oral history, cameras rolling as Jordan recounted the park reign, my voice overlapping. He showed me why, because love's the ultimate revelation. Airing to acclaim, it sparked dialogues. Our 3 days a beacon for the hesitant. In the hush of years, garden swings creaked under younger weights. Us watching from Adirondacks, hands laced, sunset painting Portland gold. Jordan's whisper, faint but fierce. No regrets. None. Kitsch forged strength, feels depth, romance eternity, all weaving to meaning. A life ignored no more, fully embraced, its echo rippling infinite.